Welcome to the Yoga Conversations podcast. This is your host, Harish Punjabi. We talk with yoga, meditation, and wellness practitioners. We explore this mystic space, try to dissect it, and make it accessible for everyone. Let's begin with the show. Welcome, everyone. Today's guest is a special guest, especially for all our female listeners. Her name is Sruthi Menon, and she's from Kerala. We'll cover a range of topics with her. She's a certified Hatha Yoga Teacher from the Isha Foundation. She has a history with PCOD, and when she was diagnosed at the age of 14, she has been facing a lot of hormonal imbalances, and she has a very strenuous relationship with medications. We'll also talk about how she discovered Isha Foundation, how her journey changed after taking up that process or that path. So, Shruti, welcome to the show.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Shruti. With whoever volunteer or teacher I have spoken to from Isha Foundation, they first greet us with Namaskaram. What is the reason behind that?
So it's like basic thing. One thing is when you just hold on both your hands together and just bow down, we're just letting ourselves be aware that whoever is in front of us they're not higher to us or they're not lower to us. They're just the way they are, and we're just acknowledging their presence or the life within them. So it's just as a conscious effort that we build up or something, that we acknowledge the life within us to be more appropriate. And when you do this for some time, you will know a kind of bowing, that gratitude also will come from within. So
Right.
unconsciously that thing happens from within. Yeah.
Great. So it, I guess, clears the distinction of referring to anyone who might be very much elder to you or younger to you, but to give them the
Yeah.
same level of respect and gratitude.
Yeah.
That's great. During our discussions, you had mentioned about PCOD, and you were very much traumatized when you first discovered about it. Means at the age of 14, and it was, you mentioned that it was very much difficult for you to make sense of it at that time.
So it was diagnosed at the age of, I think, close to 15, because 14 is the age when I got my periods for the first time. So just like, any other, girl's life is, it was like normal. And then, but what happened was, like, the periods that is supposed to happen, like a normal menstruation cycle, it didn't happen with me. So normally in the household, your grandmom, everyone will say that, maybe the first time it happens, like the next, after a couple of times, it may not be coming in the right time. So there's nothing to worry about, because, like all the ladies will be telling, some hereditary problems, because for my mom also it had happened, not in the scale that I was diagnosed with, but it was like normal. But then when you hit your puberty slowly, the pimple starts coming, you start putting on weight, your whole body changes in a different level. So
Right.
when this irregularity happened for a very long time, then everybody started telling, why don't you have that Ashoka Arishtam? It's a concussion, like a
Right.
Arishtam.
Everyone must be giving their opinions.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But normally Ashoka Arishtam is something very effective. It's Ayurvedic
Okay.
concussion. And
Okay.
normally, if you have any problem with your menstruation cycle or any problem with your, the cleansing process, especially for girls in the early teen, time, if you have this problem, Ashoka Arishtam would do the job, more or less. Like most of the problems will get over with this Ashoka Arishtam. So even I had that, but then it didn't show any, I didn't get my periods even after having that for months.
Okay.
So when I was like 14 plus, close to 15 years old, that's when your, grandmother and your badima and your mom's sisters, they say, no, it's better you consult a doctor. Till then you think,
Right.
okay, it's fine, anyway, you're very young. So that
Right.
thing of, if you don't have periods, it's really good, because you don't have that pain, and, so
Right.
many things coming
All
along
the
with
pains
it.
with it.
So,
Yes.
yeah, so I was really happy because I don't have periods. But then realize that it's not the normal thing that is happening with your body, because then people around you also start talking about, oh, she doesn't have periods, what happened, is she okay, what are the problems, or she starts gaining weight, or the pimples come, acne come. So all these issues started happening. So we went to a doctor, and he said that you take a scan, uterus scan. So you take the uterus scan, and they said, okay, no problem. You see the doctor, consult the doctor. Doctor will tell you. Now the first sentence that come out his mouth was, "You're having PCOD and you won't have babies. It'll be hard to bear babies." So when you
Okay.
are such a young age and somebody in front of you saying that you can't bear kids, it's something, you don't know the seriousness about it, but then you don't know how to take it also.
Correct.
It's like, okay, like first thing was, so what's a big deal, because anyway I'm not going to have babies, or now. But then there is another side of me which says that something that should happen normally, like in my age every girls are getting periods, or I'm getting my mustache, I'm having a lot of acne, and the very the very way the body behaves changes, like from small things, the way the sweat smell changes, and your energy will be down. So these are very small things, but then it affects you in a very different level.
Correct.
So when doctor said, my mom was completely devastated, because somebody's telling that she's having PCOD. So it's like when you are like the 2003 2000, yeah, I think that's the time. That time, the early 2000s, when somebody say that PCOD, it's supposed to be, oh my god, what is going to happen if fibroid is there, PCOD is there, you need to do the the operation, or you won't be having babies. So all these, everybody will start telling about PCOD and what it is all about. So I didn't want to hear about it, because I started getting a lot of information about it. And at the young age, when you are already studying and so many other things are there which are important in my life, then, having periods is definitely not my, cup of tea. I don't mind not having periods. So every month the conversation in the family would be, did you get periods? Why you're not getting periods? Did you consult this doctor? So this used to be the common conversation that used to happen with, with all the ladies in the house. But everybody wanted me to cure. Obviously that's the reason, now that I realize it. But earlier it used to be very annoying. You see the body phase changes, everything, changes according to the puberty as well. So then my journey started, like, because the treatment itself is a journey. That's when I realized I shouldn't have diagnosed what PCOD is all about, because when you
Correct.
go to the doctor, then every doctor will say one thing or the other. So you try one set of pills. Now the thing is, hormonal medicines, when you start taking, it's like actual contraceptive pills, the one that you take for 28 days, or then your insulin started changing, then your thyroid started changing. So the process of me going to a doctor, consulting, getting the medicines, trying out whether I'm having periods or not having periods. Okay, now without medicine, he'll say, okay, stop taking medicine, see whether I'm getting my periods. So it used to be like the main thing in my life. Like every month, like some big thing is happening, which was supposed to be normal, it was not happening. So that used to annoy. But then I started understanding that, okay, let it be there. I'm taking medicines anyway, I'm getting my periods. And when you hear that there are a lot of people, even with the pills, they are not getting the periods, I felt, okay, my body is at least responding to it. But what I didn't realize was, when you take all these hormonal, tablets, it it brings the periods, which is through an external force. But then your migraine started coming, then your mood fluctuations. So it was something that I couldn't handle in the initial stages, because you have these weird mood fluctuations, and you get angry, and all these things you're showing to your family members and your closed ones. So, and you don't realize it's because of this that these issues are happening, because that time, okay, you're growing, and
Right.
everybody will say that, okay, she's growing up, she's a teenage age.
Right.
So
And I
that is
guess
how,
everyone must be seeing these patterns as like single symptoms, not like a collection of a
exactly,
whole. Right. Right.
exactly. So that had happened. And then, so slowly my process of doctor trial, hormone tablets, this used to happen back to back. Until when I was like 21, 22, I went to Bangalore after getting a job, after completing my MCA. Now, by that time, I was fed up with taking these hormonal tablets, because when the work pressure started coming, when you're with your colleagues, when you have that odd working hours, when all these things came up together into my life, because earlier it was not like that. We had your family to take care of you. Something is
Right.
there, you can just call them, say, this is happening, that is happening, or you have someone to yell to. So,
Correct.
but then when you start working, the whole atmosphere is different. You are on your own, working, staying alone, and you're managing everything by yourself, traveling. So when that happened, even then I thought, okay, then you realize many people have this PCOD. So I was very happy. And many of my friends also started talking about this, because I'll have mustache, you wax your face, or you shave your face, or you do threading, and you have those other effects of it. And it's like I have this hair coming, even that becomes a part of your conversation. I'm having body hair, or anything becomes a conversation. So then you realize, see, every PCOD girl is not different from each other. Maybe I'm having PCOD, I'm having facial hair, or I go to a weight of 90-95, but there will be another girl who doesn't have any problem with their skin. They'll be having flawless skin, they'll be having the best body in the world, but then they'll be having super bad mood swings, worse than me.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
all different categories. So that also I realized only after moving to Bangalore
And the
and also
diagnosis
talking to
would
my
be
friends.
PCOD for that girl also.
Yeah,
Okay,
PCOD or
okay,
PCOS, whatever, the same category they used to tell. So then I was happy, okay, I'm also there in the same group. So became a part of my normal life. It was normalcy for everyone. So every 3 girls out of 10 will say that I'm having PCOD or thyroid. So when that had happened, I realized that I don't want to live my life like this, because every day you're taking your medicine. It was like drinking water for me every day. So I realized, no, I don't want this life anymore. I want to make sure that if there is something I can do, I want to do it. Now when I say something I can do, every doctor you go, they say that with a healthy lifestyle you can get out of this condition. Like you can reduce your weight, you can exercise or walking, or you take healthy food items, everything. But I was not somebody who was ready to put that effort of creating a routine, because I was incapable. Every time you start dieting, I'll do for, like, let's say 2-3 months, I'll reduce weight and I'll start looking good in a better version. And I knew that, okay, but still I was taking medicines, because I knew it's something that I have to do for my whole life, this so-called weight management and all those things. I didn't want to do that weight management thing. See, consciously, when this is a way that you have to live, now I realize it's different. But that time, to not having the PCOD, you stop eating something, or you start eating something, it's very temporary in nature. So dieting was the last thing that I worked for me. And some stress will come within 2-3 weeks, I again start gaining weight. So whatever I lost, it starts coming up. So what's the whole point of dieting? I would rather
right,
have my curd rice and fish and chicken and be
right.
happy. So I was happy with it. So then I stopped taking medicines, and a friend of mine said about the one yoga program, and that's when I started with my Isha journey. It started with
Okay.
that. So this
So
has been
I
my
guess
PCOD journey.
this was the 7-day inner engineering program.
Yes, it is a 7-day enriching program.
Okay, okay. Could you please share your experience on that, on those 7 days, and
Yeah.
how effectful were they?
7 days inner engineering program, it was just like another trial for me. Try this, now, some people say they lose weight, some people they say, yeah, my BP went down, it was normal,
Right,
all those things. So I was like, and they say I became super meditative, I found what stillness is. So I was like, stillness, okay.
right.
So when
In
you hear
7 days.
all these things, so you don't know what is the actual definition or what you're looking for. But one thing common was, everybody said you feel really happy and joyful, or you start practicing it, you will see that your life changed for good. These are like common areas that people say. I said, okay, then let me try. Because especially when girls say, they say, oh, let me also try, because I am also in your gang of PCOD. So you try, go to the same gym for reducing, that kind of a thing. So 7 days inner engineering was like, it's a very normal program. You go there where, 21 minutes of one meditation process called Shambhavi Mahamudra was taught. And then the experience in that program was something, because I expected it to be like super meditative in nature. Like you sit there and morning, 3 hours, one program is there. So you 3 hours, you're sitting with your eyes closed and you will see all the lights coming, and I'll feel like I'm floating. So these were the things that I expected. Or, okay, all of a sudden I'll feel realized, and what are the good and the bad in my life, or everything that I've done bad, I want to, make it right. So these were my expectations. This is what I wanted at that time. But when I went, the moment you enter the hall, the way things have been arranged, the way the volunteers were there, the teacher who's conducting the class. So when you start attending the program, I realize there's a lot more. It's not about that the what is being taught, the way it is being carried out. That touched me in a very deeper level. Like the way everybody was there, their way of being, right? The way Isha, let's say 2-3 Isha meditators are there, the way they were behaving was, I was like, wow, Like, what is this? What are they, how could they do that? So normally when you think of yoga class, you'll be like, everything that is above your head is yoga. Something that you're not experiencing, but somebody is telling so many things
True,
about it.
true.
Wow, that is yoga, because you're not able to experience, and somebody is experiencing and explaining it so much. For
Correct.
me, that was yoga until that time. But then, all these 7 days where, like some activities were there, but then together, we as a team, we were, doing certain things. And then when we got initiated also, the whole process, I understood that yoga is not about something that you don't understand. No, it's just like a technology. Only thing is, you should know how to use it, or you should know to do it in the right way. Now, as long as you do it in the right way, the process is followed in the right way, it will work no matter what, who does it. And it doesn't matter whether you should be like sitting with your eyes closed and doing all those powerful things, or thinking about it so much and creating some superficial stuff. So
Correct.
I was really happy I attended the process, because I was really feeling light and calm when I did the 7 days program. And after that, they said, you just do it for 41 days, one mandala, that 41 days, to to make sure that the process is ingrained into your system. And then you have to do it for 6 months.
By the way, could you just explain what is mandala? Means for the listeners who do
Yeah.
not know.
Sure, sure. So mandala is like 40 days. Now every 40 days, your physiological system goes through a cycle. So something new that you're introducing into your system to enroot into your system, it will take that that cycle of 40 days. If you
Okay.
go to an Ayurveda doctor, the medicine that they give will be 42 days, because you need to have that cycle in your system so that the cells get rejuvenated. So it's like a cycle that comes. So to make sure that you're introducing something new for that entire cycle means you're giving your system that time to get used to it.
So a
So
system
that is
basically
why,
understands whatever
yeah,
new properties are coming. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that had happened. And when I did the practice Shambhavi Mahamudra for that, what mandala, 140 days, twice a day, I could see that, because I wanted my issue of that physical issues to go away. But then I realized I was completely okay with my PCOD issues. But then I found there are many things, there were issues were there within me. Like, I was emotionally very stressed. I used to get really angry. I hated talking to strangers. Like, if I don't like someone saying, I get really annoyed. And it
Okay.
used to affect me a lot. Like, anything and everything could affect me, and I used to get very irritated. So, and the worst thing was my sleepless nights. I couldn't sleep at night. Like, even you lie down like 10 o'clock, I used to be awake till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, watching mobile phone or watching TV. And
Right.
then you sleep, very short sleep, and you will feel very tired. So you
Right.
knew that your system becomes very, tired, and that inertia used to be very high for me. So for me, that started changing very fast. Like, I could see that I was more energetic, and my sleep started coming back. And that was like a blessing. So I would say, okay, I'm happy that I'm sleeping and my PCOD was okay. I can live with my PCOD for my whole life. So when these things started changing, I realized I became more happy as a person. And also I could handle myself in a better way. Otherwise, I knew that, you react in a particular way, but then you will just ruin your entire day in some way or the other without even me knowing it. So when Shambhavi started rooting inside me, I could see these aspects started changing, and that was an eye opener for me.
Okay. You were in Bangalore and you experienced, I guess, the 7-day inner engineering program. Then you did your 41-day Mandala program. And then when was the time that you decided to take the Hatha Yoga Teacher training course?
So what happened when I started doing Shambhavi, and then when I started doing Hatha Yoga practices, because I knew something, better I'm starting to feel. So when that happened, like after 10 months, I got my first periods without taking pills when I started doing my Shambhavi Mahamudra. So
Oh,
that's because
okay.
until then, Shambhavi was not something that I thought I'll do for every day. Just because, in the session, I
And
like the session, and yeah.
and you were not taking medications at that time?
No, I stopped taking medications
Okay.
fully because
Okay.
I wanted to try, right? I wanted to
Right.
see how it is like to not having medicines.
Right.
So,
Right.
so what happened so the 10th month, like, right, exactly 10 to 11 months after doing my Shambhavi, at that time I learned Surya Kriya, but I wasn't very regular with Surya Kriya practice. I used to do whenever I feel like, or, laziness used to be there. But
Right.
Shambhavi I used to do every single day. So
Okay.
when that happened, after 10 months, the first time I got my periods without taking any pills. So this happened like when I was 14 without medicine. So I was really happy and
Wow.
jumping around
Right.
saying that, yeah, I got my period. I started believing in my body that, the body has the ability to recover certain things. Now I realized, okay, now what can I do more to feel something better? What can I do to feel better? What is the other thing? So one after the other, I started doing other practices, or I did other practices like Shakti Chalna Kriya. In Hatha Yoga, there are other practices like Yogasanas and Anga Mardana, like that. So when I introduced that, I could see, rather than the physical changes within me, I could see I was becoming very energetic and very calm and quiet and all those things. So, and by 2000, then by 2014 or 15, my periods was regular. Just that on
Every
a
month.
scale of every month, like 30 days or 29 days or 32 days maximum gap. But I
Great.
got it without taking any medicines, like without no, hormonal imbalances, no sugar, no thyroid, nothing. It became all normal. So when
Wow.
that happened, it was like a quality check. Something
Hmm.
happened. And because, by that time, I had consulted a doctor in Coimbatore. She was a lady. And she was, she was somebody who opened my eyes, because she had told that it's just a condition. You live in a healthy way. Whatever happens, even it can come again in your life. Only thing is you need to maintain a energetic, healthier way of life. When that happens, it is going to get, normal. That's so when
Okay.
she said in a very normal way, I was very encouraged to live a happy and healthy life. So
Right.
that had happened. So
So I guess at that time, all your hormonal imbalances, be it even thyroid, all was coming into check.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that had happened. So it was like more encouragement for me. But parallelly, I was working in Bangalore, and then I went to Singapore for working. And from there, I thought, still the normal life was going on with the work life. You're working a lot. But then when I started doing the practices, and when it started becoming more intense and subtler in nature, I understood that I want to invest something on myself for some duration, so that what is there for me next, or what is there more. I want to see
Right.
whether there is something more I can experience. So that quench of tasting something new was there. So that's when I decided, by that time I was going to Isha, and volunteering. So I was knowing what is the programs available and everything. And when I got to know about Hatha Yoga Teacher training, so everybody was telling, you can teach Hatha Yoga practices, and your life, again, you're staying in the ashram for 6 months in a consecrated place. So I had that thing, okay, even I want to be in the ashram for that long and living the IT life. I want to see what happens when I don't have that life, just in
Right.
the form
It's
of
like
curiosity.
it's like a big sabbatical you
Yeah,
consider. Okay. Okay.
exactly. So I thought, okay, anyway, I was working for 6.5 years. So I thought, why not take a break? So I took it, and 2017, I came back to India, and we had this Hatha Yoga Teacher training 2017 batch. I joined. That is when
Okay.
I decided, okay, let me try something new in my life, just a trial and error basis.
Right. And that time you took basically it is a big plunge to take a 5 month or a 6 months course, be
Yeah.
completely at the ashram. Um, we all know about these 200-hour teacher training courses or 300-hour teacher training courses. How different are these courses compared to the Isha Hatha Yoga teacher training course, which is a span of 5 months?
When I came to Isha, just few things I knew was it was like 21 weeks you're going to be there in the ashram. And it's more like a sadhana for yourself rather than, that, okay, I'm going to become a teacher. It's not like that. It's for
Hmm.
your going for your own personal growth or your own that thrive. And then whatever that comes out of it, there is no way that, miss something, the essence of it in one way or the other. That essence will definitely be ingrained into you. That many people have told. And maybe I was doing practices regularly. I knew whatever Isha was offering, there should be something or the other.
Correct.
But then when you're in the ashram, one thing is, it's not about, pushing us to do something or anything. Like the whole environment is designed in such a way that there is no way that you miss that routine. Like
Okay.
we are gone through 1,750 hours of Hatha Yoga training. Now,
Wow.
when we do the training, it's like every day from 5:30 onwards, our sadhana starts. Now, when we say the teacher training, normally it's like you're learning to teach somebody. Now, here it is not like that. It's not that how to teach someone. Now, before that, that is the secondary part of it, because that will definitely come to you. Now, how you do the practice for yourself, it's in the more of an experiential aspect to it, like how you are imbibing the practice, how you are taking yourself forward. Now, only unless and until you do the practice and you know what it is giving you cannot, tell to someone, because then it becomes like a preaching. And within just a couple of seconds, people will find it out and it becomes a lie. So, that constant push was there from the Hatha Yoga school part. So Isha had structured the program in such a way that everybody who, registers for that will definitely know how a sadhana or how a practice will imbibe on themselves. And the benefit definitely will be there. And later aspect of how to teach, like, because everybody can do the practice, but then to teach somebody, even now you need to know the technical aspect or certain things that you need to make sure. Otherwise, somebody who's in front of you, they're literally giving their, body for you. You show. So it's like that kind of a blind trust is there when somebody comes and sit next to you, in front of you, as a teacher. So now to transfer that tool to somebody, we need to know certain aspects of it. So then we get trained for that, which is also a part of the training. But the main thing is to do sadhana for our own development and growth. And also that, you feel that you're not trying to become a teacher, that process will become a part of you and that will flow through you. That is where the teacher training showed me the difference of not a proper teacher training aspect. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, did you have a chance to meet Sadhguruji during this entire period? And if you did have, how was your interaction? And did you have any specific learnings from him?
Before that, I would say 2000 and I think 11 or something, when I went to ashram for the first time. So that time, the initial stage, because the crowd was not that much during those time, because now ashram is a lot of people, and if he's going, like, people will just crowd him like this and they all wait for him. So it's very hard to see him, right? So there are a lot of people coming from outside also. So earlier it was not like that. So even when you're walking, he used to be just walking next to you. And we don't realize, because just like a normal person, like, one guy will be like walking and he has this beautiful like grandpa beard, you will realize, oh, that's Sadhguru. So, and like he's as normal as, I think he's more normal than all of us. Maybe we are having, we think we are maybe extraordinary or we are like this, but he is, he is, that humble and very cool as a person. So he'll be like, have food, acha, Tamil, he asks. Or just like, how you have somebody nearby and, just walking around, like a neighbor walks next to you. So he talks to people walking around and, like that. So this experience I remember more clearly when I used to go to ashram 2011-12 time.
So, let's say you're traveling, a lot for a specific course or a training, and you're going to give classes to some other city. Okay. In that case, how do you make sure that you fit in your own personal sadhana within that period of time? Is there any specific 10-minute or a 20-minute routine which you make sure you do before you go for that class to teach?
Yeah, especially like as a teacher when you travel, because we go to different places and we'll be staying in, volunteers' houses and we'll be taking the class. So let's say mostly we'll be having 2 sessions in the morning and in the evening.
Okay.
So it'll be 6 o'clock in the morning and then evening 6 o'clock. Mostly it'll be that time. So one thing earlier, I used to not do the practice in the morning at that time, because anyway, 6 o'clock, by that time, 6 o'clock means I have to reach in the place where the class was happening. And then after the class, I used to do my practices coming back. But then I realized that before the class, even when I was able to do just one practice, if I put it in, the way I conduct the class also, it became more flawless. And also I was more energetic. It's kind of an energy pump like that. Now, it's not, see, when we say practices or sadhana, it's not like you have to do everything every day. No, there are, there are certain things that you can neglect and you can do it. But practices like Shambhavi, Shakti Chalana Kriya, all these things we do every day, no matter what. But anytime, just that your empty stomach condition should be there. But otherwise, if you have a half an hour, I'll do just Shambhavi and I'll go for the class. Or if I just have 10 minutes, I'll just do some other practice, simple yoga practice, and I'll do the class.
So yeah, so actually this is just for anyone who, let's say, and especially this is very much common in metro cities, whenever people are traveling a lot for their work or coming back home, they want to squeeze in at least like a 10-minute, 20-minute thing. And yes, you suggested some good points on this. So Shruti, we've come to our last question. What is the message you would like to share with all our listeners?
Message in the sense, one thing, just maybe a thought I would like to share. I wouldn't even say a message or something, because I'm not somebody who is, that realized person or something to give a advice as such. But just that, when something so profound or so powerful is there out there, and the same thing is there existing within us, that source of creation, or whatever people call it, let it be anything. When you're in a place to, when you are having that thrive or that ability to realize it's right there. Now, to take that first step for that inner growth, it's very important that you take that first step, because always you aim for big things. When you say yoga or let it be anything, just that small step of that inner growth in the form of any yogic practices, or let it be the work that we are doing, or let it be any activity that you love to do. When life gets involved in that, or when you put your life into it, there is no way that it doesn't work. Something that I have realized, and something that I'm trying to do it every time as well. So maybe that thrive, or to realize that what we have is something very special, and just to take that journey of that self growth. I think that is something that everyone can try it. You don't have to wait for 60 to start thriving for it.
True. Means you shared something very beautiful. The first part was how taking the first step is very much important, and it is the biggest step. As well as everyone is special. Only thing is you have to realize that you have all those qualities.
Yeah.
That's great, Shruti. So so we have come to the end of the show, and I'll make sure to add all our discussion in the show notes. Any specific links, I will link them all. Where can everyone find you on the internet?
I'm there on Instagram.
Okay.
So Sruthi Menon, my handle is there. So you can contact me there directly.
Great. Okay, Shruti. Thank you for being a part of the show.
Thank you. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Once again, thank you for hearing out the episode. All topics with their respective links and our email IDs will be available in the show notes. See you in the next episode.